Hello, and welcome to the Positive Forward Motion podcast. This week's episode has been pre recorded, but before it continues, I want to relay a very important message. I understand that I will never understand. However, I stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. It is important to educate ourselves, do what we can to support, and be more than not racist. We must be actively anti racist and confront racial injustice at every opportunity. If you're looking for a way to help and do not know where to start, there is a link that lists all the verified places to donate, as well as where you can sign, call, or text to see what you can do to help. That link is blacklivesmatters.carrd.co. I will also list this link in my show notes. Additionally, the Anthony Graves Foundation is dedicated to meaningful criminal justice reform that promotes fairness, equality, and humanity. You can learn more about the Anthony Graves Foundation at anthonygravesfoundation.org, and I'll be sure to also list this link in my show notes as well. Anthony Graves has previously been a guest on my podcast, and his foundation's mission is giving the underserved and left behind a choice and a chance to live happy, productive lives and become the powerful new foundation of our communities. Our mission is to take a positive forward motion step in the right direction, no matter how small you may feel it is at the time. Little by little becomes a lot, and together we can make a positive difference. Welcome and thank you for joining into today's Positive Forward Motion. This is your host, Denise Scattergood. Each week I discuss a topic that is designed to help you get more of what you do want and less of what you don't want, both personally and professionally. My goal is to add value to others by sharing a topic in 8 minutes or less, topics that will empower, motivate, and inspire you to have more happiness and success. Today's topic is How to Be More Productive, Part 4. Here we are at the final episode of How to Be More Productive. I hope you've been following along and are finding success in this 4-part series. In the spirit of positive forward motion, please remember that it is always a great idea to go back and re-listen and follow the steps until you have reached your goal. So let's recap. In Part 1, we created a firm foundation to being more productive by practicing and following these 3 things. 1 was to identify and do the hardest task first. 2 was to identify our distractions that keep us from accomplishing those hard tasks. And number 3 was to remember how important it is to write your tomorrow to-do list tonight. In Part 2, we learned how to manage our time better by learning and practicing these 3 things. 1, the 80-20 rule. 2, how to stop allowing our cell phone to drain our brain. And number 3, we identified the things that we could stop doing to help us find and give ourselves more time. In Part 3, we reviewed how to ask for help by using positive delegation. And now here we are in Part 4. And in this episode, we're going to focus on how to get started and, most importantly, how to keep up the positive forward motion, especially when we just don't feel like it. Because no matter what the goal is you've set out for yourself, you're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to feel unmotivated, and quite frankly, sometimes you're just going to want to throw in the towel. And that happens to the best of us. And I can tell you this, that's very normal, because all of us, if you've even asked the most successful people, they will all tell you openly and honestly that they have felt the same way at one time or another. Many times what makes us a success is not specifically the completion of our goal, but the journey and the lessons that we get to learn along the way. So today I'm going to give you 7 things to keep in mind that will help you not only get started, but will also help you keep going. So here we go. Number 1, remember this. You don't have to. You get to. When we feel overwhelmed and stressed, it is super easy to say, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. Well, I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. You don't have to do anything. Remember, you get to, and that's a blessing in itself. And on a side note, if you'd like more inspiration on this topic, you don't have to. The podcast episode aired on November of 2018, so you can go back and listen to that one. Number 2 is getting unstuck. Sometimes to get started, you first need to get unstuck. And many times this means getting out of your own way. So here's 3 things to remember about getting unstuck. One is think about your mindset. You must first believe if you're going to achieve. Number 2 is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because it's not always going to be easy, but I promise it's going to be worth it. And number 3, replace perfection with progress because the tiniest step in the right direction is still progress. Number 3 is to beware of burnout. I know how exciting it is to get started on a new dream and goal, and I am the first one to admit that I can hit that wall, and man, I hit it hard. And I've learned the hard way that taking breaks does not mean that I'm going backwards. I've learned that resting is like refueling and recharging, and that it's really good for us and it helps us to keep on going. Number 4 is to promise yourself. That's right, promise yourself, because a personal promise is like a personal mission statement. And I bet you're one of those people who is really good at keeping promises to others, right? Well, okay. Well, then who is more important than you? No one. So write it out loud. Post a picture. Do whatever it is that you need to do. But most importantly, remember to promise yourself that you can and will and keep going until. Number 5 is to act as if. There is scientific proof that when we carry ourselves with confidence and act as if we are on our way to achieving success, we actually have more success. So stand tall and get going after that big dream. Number 6 is to give 100% of whatever percent you have. And here's what I mean. We've all done it. We wake up and we just don't feel like we're at 100%. So what do? Well, I'll tell you what most people do. They throw in the towel, but not you. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to give 100% of whatever percent you have. So for example, if you wake up tomorrow morning feeling like, I just feel like 50%, so what? Give 100% of that 50% because something is better than nothing. And I promise you'll be happy that you did. And again, if you need more inspiration here, go ahead and listen to my 100% podcast. That episode aired back on June 5th in 2019. It's less than 6 minutes, so it's worth your time, I promise. And number 7 is to remember this acronym, START. S-T-A-R-T. S is for say it. Write out 2 positive affirmations, one about yourself and one about why you're working on your dream. Now say them out loud. Say it like you mean it. T is for today. Identify one small thing that you can do today and do it. A is for able. You are able. Write down 3 things that you like about yourself. And what positive attributes do you have that will allow you to reach your goals? R stands for ready, and ready is set, go. Remember, you are ready to start, so be careful not to get in the get ready mode. Just get ready and go. And T equals try. Reward yourself for trying, and don't worry about failure because you know what? We all fail at one time or another. And if you're not failing, then you know what that means. You're not trying. I am so happy you followed along in this 4-part series, and I hope you found it helpful. Remember, you are important, and so are your dreams and goals. I believe in you, and what I wish most for you is that you continue to believe in yourself. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, please rate and review and share this podcast to help us spread our message of positive forward motion. And don't forget, you can follow me for more daily doses of positivity on Instagram and Facebook at Denise Scattergood, and you can find me on Twitter at Alert Trainers. You can also opt in for my daily text messages by texting the word positive to 313131. And remember, each episode comes with a free worksheet to help keep you on track. It's simple. Just go to denisescattergood.com. You can find a free PDF download link under each episode. And be sure to tune in every Wednesday for a brand new episode. And remember, no matter how small your step is, as long as you're taking it in the right direction, that's what I call positive forward motion.